Hi, my name is Bunny Cakes and welcome to my channel. I'm going to be doing a book haul today. The first book I have is Wicked Witch and Curse by Nancy Holder and Debbie Vigay. It is actually book 1 and 2 of a series they wrote together. It's about Holly Cathers and her family. Her parents get killed and she ends up living with her aunt and her twin cousins, and they discover that they are witches. And she meets a boy and she falls in love, and magic happens and chaos ensues, apparently. The second book I have is Wicked 2. It's book 3 and 4 of the series by Nancy Holder and Debbie Vigay. I'm pretty sure I'm saying that right. It takes place a year and a half later. The witches have come into their powers more. The romance is more hot and cold again. And there's more chaos, I assume. The next book I have is Orange is the New Black by Piper Kerman. I've been wanting to read this for a while. Everyone knows it's the book that started the Netflix series. I hear it's quite a bit different, but I am still very interested in it because I like the show so much. The next book I have is a compilation of stories. It's called Strange Brew. It was edited by P.N. Elrod. It has about 10 stories in it, and they all have to do with witches and vampires and magic. And it just looks like a fun, quick read. The next book I saw this at the library and I had to have it. I love vampires, and I got started with the original vampire, Dracula, and this is a sequel to the original classic, as it says. It's called Dracula the Undead, and it is written by a descendant of Bram Stoker. He is a great grandnephew, and it was co-written by Ian Holt. And it just the fact that it is a sequel to one of my favorite books of all time, Dracula, makes me want to read it. It takes place 25 years after the Harkers defeated Dracula, and I cannot wait to read it. Another book I have, which is probably a little more nerdy and a little bit more boring, is Think Like a Programmer, An Introduction to Creative Problem Solving. I'm having a bit of a sinus issue right now, so I'm sorry if I get nasally. It's by V. Anton Sproul, and it's basically about programming and creative thinking and just how to be a better programmer overall. And next, we'll move into my ebooks, because I have several of those. I have Blackwood Farm. I'm not sure. There you go. Blackwood Farm by Anne Rice. It's book 9 of the Vampire Chronicles. Again, like I said before, I love vampires, and I started reading Anne Rice when I was in middle school, and I just love her writing, and I'm more in love with the characters probably because I came to them when I was so young. And it's about a new vampire named Tarquin Blackwood, and the vampire Lestat's in it, and I just cannot wait to read it. The next book I have is The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks by Rebecca Skloot. I came across this when I was looking for books to read for Diversithon, and I didn't get around to it. I found out that they are going to be making a TV show or a movie about this soon, and it says it's Henrietta Lacks is a black woman whose cells were taken without her permission, and they launched a medical revolution and a multi-million-dollar industry. More than 20 years after that, her children actually found out, and it just changed their lives. And it brings up a lot of uncomfortable topics, like how women are treated, and especially how women of color were treated back then, and even still are. And despite the fact that so many good things have come from this woman's genetic material being stolen, the fact is that it was still stolen from her. And I think that it will be a very, very good read and a very educational read, and I cannot wait. And the last book I have is by Stephen King. There we go. It is The Dark Tower 2, The Drawing of the Three. Um, I read the first Dark Tower book back in December, and it was really good. And I had been told that it was really good. I had just never gotten around to reading the Dark Tower series until now, and um, I was told that once I started, I would be hooked, and I feel like I really am. And for, I cannot wait to read this. I'm actually not sure where I'm going to start in this pile of reading books. And also, one of the things that made me start wanting to read the Dark Tower series is that there's going to be a Dark Tower movie coming out soon with Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey as the main characters. And I know I'm going to want to see that movie because I've seen every Stephen King movie. And so I wanted to try to read the series as much as I could before the movie comes out. So again, it's another book that I'm really interested in reading, and I will probably start very soon. Um, that's all I have for my book haul right now. Um, if you like my content, please stick around, subscribe, and give my video a thumbs up. Thank you. Goodbye.